Hello, everyone. So, when I was younger, I would make plenty of videos about many of the ideas I had and also concepts. I would talk about them. Sometimes I would say in the best way I could, or sometimes um, I would just lightly talk about them. And I had a blast talking about that. And even within the past few recent years, I did let slip a few ideas. But back then, when I was younger, I would drop so many videos about many of the ideas I had. Now, I am grateful that I never rushed with them. You know why? Because they were able to mature greatly. And that's the best part because some ideas and concepts I had, they either, you could say, had like, I would say some interesting story going on, but maybe they lacked character or plots. Just writing fast, so I may misspell something over here. Regardless, they may lack something, and maybe I was just wrong with all of it in the first place, and they just needed more reworking. Thankfully, I never rush with all of my ideas because so many ideas I now have better visions for them and better concepts. So that's fantastic. And some of them are just like a total 180 of what they originally started out to be. So I'm going to show you a few examples. So the first example is an RPG series. I mentioned this, I think, towards the last bits of 2020, or you could say the last months of 2020. So an RPG series. And, I think I mentioned that some of them are going to be connected to other stories. It's gonna be pretty big, but you also have like other sequels that won't be connected to each other, just standalones. It was going to be huge, and it had some interesting concepts, and that was the best part about it. And the thing is that I was just sitting with this idea because obviously I didn't have a good laptop to work on this. It was going to be a fantastic video game. I had 3 levels of graphics planned, by the way. Like since I kept thinking about various sequels and stuff, the main three, at least the main three, the first one was going to have like a flat 2D experience. So the second one was going to be, I would say, 2D merged with 3D. And uh, the third one was going to be just 3D. Had an interesting title where it was going to be called 3D. Now, the story I had envisioned for all of them, at least, were pretty good. And anyways, I'm wasting time. Let's just not beat around the bush. So technically, we're not really beating about the bush. We're just going in detail. But still, I don't want to talk too much about that. Regardless, years later, I was still thinking about this series. What can I do about this series right now? I don't have a good computer to work on it. How about I salvage some of the ideas and concepts. Whatever I can salvage, I salvaged. And honestly, whatever I can't, or whatever that isn't worth salvaging at this moment, is shelved. Okay, so I salvaged some concepts, and I also kind of, I would say, worked them to fit a new series. So I mended them. So this series, I can't give you the full details of, still in development, you know. But unlike this RPG series, by the way, this idea, the original title I had for the series, started way back in 2016, and it slowly developed some interesting concepts in 2019, 2020. And what I like about this is even the old concepts I had, like the 2016 idea, I still want to do something with the 2016 idea. So the 2016 idea will be something totally different, and honestly won't share the same name. Regardless, this new series, okay, well, the RPG series was going to be for an 18 plus experience, going to be pretty adult. Well, I mean, not pretty adult by having 18 plus, but this is going to be for a children's demographic. So a children's series. And when I mean children, I don't mean 1 year old, 2 year olds. I mean, like, you could say 9, 10, 11, and up. Yeah. So it's strange how a series like this transformed into something like this. Now, here's the thing: the characters, all of that stuff, they're not here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if you were thinking about having those characters here. They're not here because I had a different character, and then I added this entire family, and I added some more characters and took away some characters and just kept thinking about it. And wow, the concepts have really gotten pretty cool, and it's awesome. That's all I can say. It's a fantastic series, and it's going to be a novel series. Now, obviously, I still have a lot more work to do with this series, but I have stapled the concepts for this, and I plan for the sequels of every book to at least, also improve with those original concepts, and also maybe to take more from what I left behind, like maybe some extra concepts I had, just to kind of fuse it together. Guys, it's wonderful. It's just so good. Now, the next idea, well, I have mentioned plenty of ideas, right? We're just going to speak about a few. Now, this one was a bit interesting because in 2019, I I was working on a visual novel. Now, back then, I remember I would work on this visual novel, especially during the night and evenings. I would watch the Daily Wire and work at the same time, chat in those live chats, and it was wonderful. It was spectacular. I remember listening to Subliminals at the time too, and just having a blast. Really, um, I would type on my laptop, and it's this laptop, by the way. Good days, right? The good old days. And it's a visual novel. And thankfully, I never rushed with it because even the year after, the idea transformed into something else. Well, not something too different, but I had the idea of expanding. What was once, just one story turned into the fourth chapter. Now, this will obviously change, but whatever I was working on back in 2019 turned into the fourth chapter. And I want to add more interesting stuff before it and after it. And I'm so happy that I got to, not rush with this project. So, yeah, obviously I had a blast with that. Um, so, yeah, those ideas have changed gratefully. And then we have another idea. And I mentioned this before. It was going to be a vampire hunting game. I'm not sure if I mentioned it was going to be a vampire hunting game, but I had an entire series planned. And honestly, it was just so fantastic. I had visual novel ideas for it. I also had regular ideas, and it was even spanning to like 2021, 2022. And in 2021, I remember I even had like a wonderful idea for, you know, the same series, but it's going to be about werewolves. Now, those concepts, thank God, I managed to not rush with any one of them for any of the spin-offs or anything, any of the. I even had novels planned for this, by the way. Um, so, yeah, I had all of this stuff. I managed. I would say, I would think around last year, I realized that how about we just forget about the vampires, the werewolves, and any of the other spin offs with monsters? Yes, I even had a spin off with other monsters, like just, I don't know which monsters exactly, maybe like well known monsters, but even some original. But I was like, okay, forget about all of the old stuff. Let's work on new monsters. So there were going to be new monsters. Okay. Also, it's going to be a novel series. And also, um, a lot of the concepts I had for these ideas will be transferred to this novel series. It's going to be a series. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to have some interesting elements. It's going to be something that a lot of people have been wanting for years. You know, with a strong male protagonist, because uh, a lot in this series had some strong male protagonists, but um, I wouldn't call the protagonist of this upgraded version an XP. It's not an XP at all. It's I would say the looks do feel like an XP, but it's not an XP. It's it's just original for the most part. And well, besides the looks, because I keep thinking of the character looking like the original one, or maybe from this spin-off. Regardless, um, when it comes to what is this about, it's going to be modern. It's going to be featuring some old concepts. However, it's going to feature a lot of new monsters, no old stuff, and also it's fantasy, yes, grounded fantasy, and also what else can I say? You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. All I can say is that the scale really, really heightens up every book. Okay, so that's the best. Okay, one more, just one more for you guys, because I remember someone telling me about this, that this idea is great, but you know uh, it may be similar to someone else's idea. But I would say what I had in mind for this one was something totally different. So um, I'm not going to say the name of this because still in development, but I had a wonderful idea back in 2020 about sexy women, like really sexy women. And also uh, you can do a lot of things with them, like there were going to be beach scenes, but of course it was going to be action. I never really explained everything in detail, but as the years went by, each concept kind of got better and better, and I ended up fusing some old concepts to you know to each other, just fusing it together for, I can't remember the exact date, so I'm just spitballing over here. But um and then I realized something, that what, for this series I'm gonna salvage some aspects. I'm gonna salvage, you could say, like maybe 90% of it. No, no, sorry, I'm not salvage. I'm gonna shelve 90% of it, and whatever else, I'm just gonna take it and work with it and turn it into a novel mystery. It's still gonna have hot women. It's still gonna have hot women, and not the same cast as I had in mind for the older concepts, but um, it's still going to feature some really sexy stuff, and it's going to be in spirit, trying to respect the old concepts, you know so it's going to be respecting. And I would say that's that's about it when it comes to all I can discuss about this idea. It's a mystery stuff. It's a mystery novel series, and obviously whatever I couldn't take, I'm still gonna wait for it. I'm gonna shelve it right now, but I still want to work with those ideas. I still want to work with the old concepts. I just don't really know how I can turn it into something. I just need a bit more time, or maybe I just need, well, not really time. You could say I just need, the best ingredient is another idea. Just another idea I need to kind of fuse everything together. Regardless, yeah, obviously this has been fantastic. Look at the mess I made on my book. Okay, so I know I mentioned plenty of more ideas, just can't get through them all. I'm just happy. I'm just happy that I got to really, really expand on them or change them. Whatever I can't keep in the modern ideas, I'm going to shelve them, and I may recycle them for various other stories if needed. you know, uh, this is really cool. I'm happy that I got to mature with these ideas, and my ideas I had before, obviously, they have matured greatly. But they matured with me and also matured with the other ideas I have, the newer ideas that are not, I would say most of them are not correlated to the stuff I mentioned, but I'm happy that that they got to really keep up with the times. Anyways, so to recap, the RPG series turned into, well, not really turned into, it was broken apart, and some concepts were salvaged for a children's novel series. Then the 2019 visual novel, I am still working on it. I already have some of, like, I would say a lot of it planned. However, obviously more work needs to be done on that, like 90% more work, obviously. So that's still going to be the same thing, but it's from what I was working on back in 2019, it's going to be massively expanded upon. And the vampires hunting series and uh, werewolf and other monster stuff turned into a only monster hunting series. It takes place in the modern times in my country, and there's some interesting elements that I'm taking from the old ideas, but there will be added stuff as well. I'm just not going to say anything else. It also, by the way, it's going to be a novel series. So there you go. Novel series. All of them are novel series. Well, besides this one, this visual novel. I was, pondering about whether or not I can turn it into a comic book, but I'm also worried about printing it because I'm going to be using a different printer, possibly Amazon, and I'm not sure about their rules and regulations about having certain dramatic stuff or dark stuff because some stories like this one, it's going to be really weird. Like, I mean weird, I mean really weird. I remember writing like a weird scene in this, which I may not keep, but that weird scene really matches the identity of this series. Then what else? Then we have the that sexy woman thing I mentioned. I can't remember what I said in that video, but obviously it's going to turn into a mystery novel series, and it's going to be really interesting. And I'm going to salvage whatever else I couldn't in well, for other ideas. Anyways, 20 minutes in. I'm so sorry, so sorry. I may not edit this video because it's just going to be so long just to render it, and plus it's going to eat up my space, so I'm not going to do that. I really hope the volume of this video is better. I'm sorry if it's pretty low. I am speaking close to it though. The problem with this phone is that the microphone records so low for some reason, but it can pick up noise from outside. It doesn't make any sense. I can be right here and it will really struggle to pick me up.